This is the Autistic Break.
Well, my life with autism is very challenging some days.
When you were diagnosed as essentially a baby.
But it's always fun. You were diagnosed about three and a half, and we'd gotten you into PUF funding already, and you were going to school at Beacon Heights Elementary.
It was challenging for sure. I knew something was different about you. I'd been taking you to the doctor to...
On the first day, the school speech-language pathologist came, and very sweet lady. The first day was assessments, physical assessments. So they watched you interact with certain things or how you would react with certain things. And the second day was an interview, and the third day was diagnosis day. So diagnosis day was pretty short. We're all in a room. Your mom, myself, and Allison, the speech-language pathologist from school.
Once we had your diagnosis,
We're all in this room, and in comes Dr. Andrew, and she goes, "Well, your son has autism."
then there was a lot of information that came to us, and what we had to do to try and prepare you more properly for school and things like that. So you were enrolled pretty quickly.
I was like, "Oh, okay." And we're all kind of shocked, and I said, "What? I've seen Rain Man. That doesn't make sense. He doesn't do that." She said, "That's Asperger's. That is a form of autism, but he doesn't have Asperger's." And I didn't know anything at the time, and just the way that she delivered it, it sounded like, "Oh, phew, he doesn't have Asperger's. Oh, good golly." It's just a different form of autism.
With a program at Beacon Heights, and started school at 3.5. I think the hardest thing was trying to put you on a bus at 3.5 when you couldn't communicate and explain to you where you were going or what was going to happen when you got there. So we were told to kind of step back a little bit and let you figure it out. And so that's what we did. We sent you to school at 3.5 years old, and then they worked with you quite a bit to try and get you working and speaking better and using your language and your vocabulary.
But when the diagnosis came down, I had my head down, and everybody was staring at me. And it's like, "Why are you all staring at me? Please just let me know what we have to do to work with you. So hopefully you can have as normal life as possible." Not exactly my words, but my thing was, why is everybody staring at me? Please just tell me what we have to do. Before you were born, what I understood autism to be wasn't necessarily what it is. Autism is autistic spectrum disorder, or ASD. And I believe you have a cousin. His name is Jeffrey, and I believe he falls on the scale. Your mom's cousin, Melanie. It's her boy. I believe that he has autism, and he's just a little older than you. As far as any other children, like, realistically, no, I don't think I was. But autism isn't like having cerebral palsy or MS or something. It's a lot of the time, there's lots of things that we do on a daily basis that we have to thank autistic people for. Sir Isaac Newton, the laws of gravity. he was autistic. He had a form of Asperger's. Henry Ford, they believe he had Asperger's. Trying to think of some others. More famous actors. Dan Aykroyd, he has Asperger's, and you really would know with him. Like he's a very smart person, but all the businesses and the training that he's had and whatnot. Matter of fact, the leading person in the leading doctor in autism is autistic, Dr. Temple Grandin. But backtracking to your question, no, I don't believe I knew any. I don't believe until you were diagnosed. I don't think I really knew anybody that had autism.
Any funny stories about autistic kids?
Well, there was a lot of things with you that, were funny and challenging, as you definitely, things happen. Like if I would take you to a mall, which I did often, all you ever wanted to do was go to the elevators and the escalators. That was, and every single time, and you memorized where they were in if you'd been there before, even once, you knew exactly where the elevator was, and you would pretty much drag me to those so that you could go up and down the elevators as many, many times as possible.
Early on, there was always a fear of how would you live, how would you grow, because you were really young. And as it turns out, you're not going to need much help at all, if any. You're a very well-rounded young man. But as other stories that you've collected, in one case you would collect things, and a lot of the time balls. So you'd collect balls and you would line them up. You would line them up in order of heights and whatnot.
Children that loved batteries and taking batteries out of things like remote controls, like your TV remote. And you definitely fell into that category. You loved batteries and finding batteries. And one day I taken you to the UFA, and there was a giant battery. I'm not sure exactly what they use it for on a farm, but it was a very, very large battery. And you tried with all your might to carry this thing and thought I should buy it for you because you wanted this big giant battery. So there was quite a collection of batteries everywhere we went. You wanted to buy batteries, and you just liked holding them. You didn't do anything with them. You just wanted to hold them and collect them. So